Hi guys, it's me Adam Garratt and welcome back to another episode in the Pantrydemic Recipes series. And today we're going to make a chicken and butter bean stew. For those of you who don't know, this playlist has kind of been devised to kind of develop recipes using cupboard staples and also recipes where you can switch and swap out ingredients. So if you haven't got something, you can use something else. I've also done quick 1 to 2 minute videos with little kitchen tips and hacks to kind of save on waste, make things go further, etc, etc. And as I keep banging on, I'm going to remind you again, follow your respective government's advice. Now for us that means we're in lockdown, so we can only go out for essential items such as food and medicine, exercise once a day, and also if you're a key worker, you know you have to travel to and from work. Stay home as much as possible, wash your hands. If you do have to go out, keep 2 meters apart. Now remember, if you like this recipe, please share it as much as you can because there's going to be plenty of people stuck at home that are going to find this kind of recipe useful. So let's crack on with it. If you look down below, you can get all the ingredients that you need. So if you get your face down here, I'll show you the first step. Okay, so I've got pretty much everything laid out. I've done all the mise en place or prep beforehand, just to make this video a bit quicker, because these videos are going to be less edited so I can bang them out quicker for you. So I've got all the stuff laid out there, and I've got here some chicken thighs. Now, these are quite small, so I've got 6. If you're using larger ones, then obviously use about 4. Now, what I'm going to do is going to be a bit controversial, is I'm going to take off the skin. Normally with something using chicken thighs, you would fry them off to get that skin nice and crisp. But because we're going to put this in a sauce, that skin isn't going to stay crispy. It's going to go soggy and a bit unpleasant. So I'm going to remove the skin, but I am going to keep it on the bone. So I'm just going to take off those. Now keep the skins, because what you can do is collect them in a bag, put them in the freezer, and when you've got enough, you can render them down and make schmaltz, or rendered chicken fat. And that's really good, you know, great for roasting potatoes, cooking with, etc. Adds a really nice chicken flavour. So I'm going to crack on with these, remove the rest of the skins, and then we can get them fried off. Right, so what I'm going to do now is brown off those chicken thighs. So I've got a nice pot here, I'm going to get that onto a heat. And I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of ghee. Now, you might be thinking, well, don't they use ghee in curries? Ghee is nice on anything, all right? It's just delicious. So I've got loads of it, so that's what I'm using. You can use just a normal vegetable oil, sunflower, rapeseed, it's up to you. As the pan's heating up, I'm gonna get my chicken thighs in there. Don't overcrowd the pan. I'm probably gonna do 3 at a time. And just kind of fry them off so you've got a nice bit of colour on each side. Okay, so once you've got some colour on the chicken, I've just taken it out and popped it on a plate. I've turned the heat right down low, and I'm gonna add the onion, leaving all the fat and chickeny goodness in there. The celery. Now I haven't got any fresh carrots, but if you remember from the last video, I've got some frozen carrots. So I'm going to add about a carrot's worth in there. Just going to chuck them in whole, just get them in. So what I'm going to do is just let those stew down for a bit, get nice and translucent, and then we can move on to the next step. Probably going to take about 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so after a couple of minutes, I can add the garlic, get that in there. I'm going to add the red pepper. Now that's quite a small pepper, admittedly, but that's all I've got. I'm also going to add about a tablespoon of tomato puree. And you just want to cook everything out for a couple of minutes just to get the rawness out of the garlic and the tomato paste as well. Okay, so once you've cooked that down for a bit, the next thing I'm going to add is a can of chopped tomatoes. I'm going to add the chicken thighs back in. In we go. And then to that I'm going to add my butter beans. Now the reason I'm spooning them in rather than just sort of chucking the whole lot in is because these have been packed in salted water. So not to get too much salt in there, I'm just doing it like this. Next thing I'm going to add is some chicken stock. Just enough to kind of cover it. Give that a bit of a mixy. Right, so now I'm going to add some flavourings. Now I'm using some smoked paprika here, about a teaspoon. Now this is really good quality paprika. So if you're using kind of cheaper nafa stuff that's not going to have a stronger flavour, you might need to use a bit more. But this is powerful stuff, so I'm only going to need a teaspoon of that. I also want a spicy kick, so I'm going to add about a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And because I want a bit of a herbaceous background, I'm going to add some oregano, some dried oregano. About 2 teaspoons will be fine. Some ground black pepper. I'm not going to add any salt at this point because there's going to be salt in that stock. So I'll adjust it at the end when it's almost done. Another mixy. And what I'm going to do now is just pop the lid on. I'm going to move it over to the back burner, just like so. Just turn the heat on for that. And basically you want to let that simmer away nice and gently for about 45 minutes to an hour, just until that chicken's cooked through, that sauce has reduced a bit, and it's all kind of amalgamated into one delicious pot of deliciousness. Then what we can do is add the finishing touches, and then we can eat it. Looking forward to this one. Very much so indeed. Okay, so it's been about 45 minutes now. What I did for about the last sort of 15 minutes is I took the lid off just to kind of reduce that sauce a bit more. And what I'm going to do now is just taste it for seasoning. It's very smoky, got that nice kick from the cayenne, but what it does need is another pinch of salt. And it also needs a bit of sugar, because depending on the brand of tomatoes that you buy, you might find that they're a little bit acidic. If that's the case, just add some sugar. Just needs a little pinch, that's all. And then lastly, what I'm going to add is a couple of cubes of that frozen parsley from the freezing herbs video that I did the other day. And I'm just going to melt those through, and then I'm going to serve it up and give it a taste. Right, let's get busy with this. Can't wait. Got a knife and a spoon. I don't think I need a fork. And I'm just going to give the stew a try first with the butter beans, the carrots and that sauce. Let's go in. Spicy, nice and smoky from that paprika. And the great thing about butter beans is that they can replace potatoes. So potatoes can be a bit hard to come by, and butter beans give you that nice starchy sort of creaminess that you get from a potato. So it's a great replacement, packed full of vitamins, and they're tasty as well. As for the chicken, just give that a whirl. Amazing. It's juicy, it's tender, it's taken on the flavour of all the other bits and pieces we added. Now just remember that if you do kind of use one of the swap outs or several that I've suggested in the video as we go along, they will change the flavour, so just bear that in mind. But that is a cracking little stew. But how easy was that? Right, you can just leave it on the hob, let it trickle away whilst you get on and do what you want to do. Whether that be shouting at people not social distancing out the window, drinking wine, crying, laughing, watching films, annoying the kids annoying you, it's entirely up to you. So anyway, that's the end of the video. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed it, again, please share it to someone who you might think will use this. And at the end of this, you'll see the playlist for all the other videos that I've done in this series, plus some of the recipes that I've added as well. So like, share, comment, but the most important thing is stay home, stay safe, look after each other, and I'll see your gorgeous faces in the next video, and bye for now.
Stations with the maps and the cars. Summer cookouts, uncle got the sandals on. Statue of Liberty, we holding up the torch. If they ask where I'm from, tell them this is New York. We from the home of the biggie, people blowing they ciggies, and these girls going wild.